Let me briefly explain why I'm here. Actually, in fact, you are, therefore I am. But so it is firstly because of Helena. Deeply fascinated by the book and film Ancient Futures, I decided to translate them into Japanese, and I did it. And then established Ancient Futures Network in 2001 with around 30 members. And now we have 1,300 members in our mail group and actively every day exchanging ideas and information and also organizing some collective actions. Sometimes people call me Kappa, and do you know Kappa? No? This is Kappa. Kappa is a water spirit in Japan, living in a pond or river. People believe Kappa likes cucumber. This one. And very much, and so you may know roll sushi of cucumber is called Kappa roll. No? And Kappa has a plate on the top of its head, and the plate always needs water. And if the plate becomes dry, then the Kappa loses its power. So I myself feel I always need water on the top of my head. So excuse me, I want to water here like this. Then I can get power, yeah, and feel ease. Actually, before the rapid economic growth in 1960s, people felt this kind of natural spirit living just nearby a surrounding. This is a local gathering of commemorating March 11, titled Goodbye Nooks. Among 11 people here, 5 evacuated to this town Iga in the western part of Japan from Fukushima and the Tokyo area after March 11. Here they are singing a song saying, "We just need safe food, clean water, and clean air." You may know once all the nuclear plants stopped their operation on March 5 last year, but the government restarted 2 of them in July. Against that government decision, the biggest gathering in front of the official residence of Prime Minister was organized. More than 170,000 people gathered. At that time, what the Prime Minister said is, "Oh, there is some big sound." It is not sound, but people's voice. It is very rare Japanese people went out on the street for political demonstration, but in Japan, we had a big street movement at the time of Meiji Restoration in 1868. People danced and sang in this way on the street almost all over Japan, saying, "Ei janai ka, ei janai ka, ei janai ka, ei janai ka." It means, "Isn't it great?" The Japanese had actually such a power of resistance in the past, and I hope we can recall such a power. This signboard says, "We don't tell lie. We are strongly against TPP. We will be consistent." This is written by the Liberal and Democratic Party of Japan. And still we have this signboard, but the Prime Minister Abe of this party declared to join the negotiation of TPP just the day before yesterday. Government calculated the increase of GDP through exporting car, etc., become 35 billion US dollar, and the decrease of agricultural production become 33 billion US dollar. So they say in total increase of 2 billion GDP. That's why they say need to promote, need to join the TPP. On the same day, Energy Commission of the government decided to promote nuclear plants. Actually, Junko was in that committee, but recently she was kicked out from that committee. Yeah, I heard. So government, especially the central government, is so blind and powerful, and that is why so destructive. In Japan, self-sufficiency rate of food, seafood, and wood energy have decreased drastically. Reviewing the self-sufficiency rate of all the 1,719 municipalities in Japan, 27 are energy and food sufficient. It is only 1%, but also it is also our hope. Localization is a movement of movements towards the direction of localization. In many fields, and in Japan, localization is mainly called Chisan Chisho in Japanese, means locally produced and locally consumed. So there are Chisan Chisho movements of food, energy, money, care, and knowledge and skill, etc. Now I just want to share some interesting examples of the activities related to localization in Japan. This is enzyme juice making, collecting the wild plants surrounding us and making an enzyme juice. At the last, what we do is we add lactic acid bacterium living on our own skin by turning the juice. This is an easy massage method using leg. This method is called Rakkenho or couple yoga. It was created by this Japanese monk, Yugen Yamanouchi-san. And so this kind of caring each other among family members, friends, and community is also, I feel, very important part of localization. This is a folding screen painting on hometown called Furusato Ebyobu. Local people record their collective memories of their hometown and make pictures of this kind about the old good days. It is a very powerful method to share the lost scenery of that area or the losing memories of that area with younger generations. What is localization? For me, I think there are 4 dimensions of localization. As Helena suggesting, there are both outer and also inner localization. Outer change or inner change or transformation. And also both resistance and renewal approaches towards localization. Taking these ideas as 2 axes, then it becomes 4 dimensions. Outer localization and inner and resistance and renewal. And outer localization and renewal, that dimension is to localize the economy and shorten the distance. And this can be the narrow definition of so-called localization. And also, outer and resistance, this is on the issue of the regulation. And then inner and resistance, that is to deepen the understanding and liberating oneself from the myths, and also enhancing the economic literacy. And inner and the renewal, that is to reconnecting to oneself and people and nature. Sometimes people think localization is anti-globalization, and self-sufficiency of community can be called community sufficiency, and the localized world in the future can be community sufficiency-based society for sustainable well-being. Globalization and transnational companies as a monster will be dissolved and tamed in the localized society. And this diagram I created nearly more than 15 years ago, and I have been using this for dialogue. This X shows going up and up means some kind of development, and then going the right, and then more exploitation of nature and people, and going left, then more harmony with nature and people. So in the process of modernization, we have moved towards this direction. There is some kind of development, but more and more exploitation and destruction. So the South should learn from the fault of the North and find another way instead of blindly following this direction. And the North should recall the original way of living to imagine another way of living instead of going forth or going back to the past. The way towards this catastrophe is for me globalization, and the way towards the sustainable well-being is localization. Does this make sense? Yeah? So I just want to share where I am living now. While working as a social activist, I started to live in an eco-village in the last year. Initially, there are 4 members, and now we have 10 members. And this house is 200 years old, and here I stay with my family members and friends. There is enough space to organize workshops, and there is a well and old ovens, and various workshops have been organized. And I have a dream to open a school to learn and practice localization here. Also, I have started to work for the resurgence of heavily monocultured forest, and started common farm in abandoned land, and learning from the leading natural farmer, Yoshikazu Kawaguchi. Also, the transition town we have started in our town. So there are lots of things ongoing, and so please come to visit us. You'll find many things to do. Yeah, this is my new baby born on January 17th, exactly 2 months ago. Thank you. I named her Nausicaa. And in Japan, Nausicaa is famous for an animation, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. You know? Yeah? Living in the heavily contaminated world after catastrophe, she plays a role to reconnecting people and people to the nature. Yeah, this is Nausicaa. So at the last, I want to say no more Fukushima. I think, and I want to believe the disaster of Fukushima is more than enough to wake up the people in Japan and in the world. Thank you very much.